Hello, everyone. Karen Glasser here, and welcome to the first episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives. And I'd like to welcome my co-host into the show. Welcome, Nancy Ferrari.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here from Orange County, California, and we've got the NorCal and SoCal going on, and I was just telling Karen that I really wish I had my orange here, but no, I'm not one of those real housewives of Orange County, and you're out there in wine country. Beautiful.
I am. I'm in wine country, and I think I replied to you, I should go get a wine glass and put my iced coffee into the wine glass so that we can be properly in our environments. Nancy, this is such a labor of love. I'm so excited. Why don't we just talk a little bit how we got here? Let's talk about how we got here.
I walked down the hall. I'm in a funny mood. You know what? You know why I'm giggling? Because this is what I've always wanted to do. Karen, you have no idea. Last year when you asked me to be on your show, the Passion Point, correct? Mm-hmm. That was the very first time I'd ever done a webcast. You know, I've been hosting my radio show for 4.5 years, and finally got it. It took about 6 months to really get into the groove of things, and being in studio, that was new, and now loving what I'm doing.
Right.
But the call to visibility was so strong. Nancy, you're done recovering from knee surgery last year, and the year before something else, and the year before. Now, you know what? The world is waiting, and
it is. And congratulations. Congratulations to you. Look, you're on television.
Woohoo! Let's see, airing at all airports worldwide. I told my husband, I said, you'll never know where you'll see us. But
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We're the California, no, should we say California version of Hoda and Kathy, but we don't have the wine. The orange juice, and you have the grape juice.
So let's talk a little bit about how this is going to work, because we are live right now. We're on a Google Hangout, and as with anything that's technology, we may freeze every so often. We may actually drop out of the show, so bear with us as we start to go live with this very first show, and we work out all of the kinks. Nancy, I know it's really kind of cool that we're collaborating here, because just like you wanted to get, visibility. That was your goal for this coming year. My goal actually was to collaborate with somebody really one-on-one, hands-on, and that's you, because I've done my show, for many years as well, but it was just me and my guests. And today, as we launch this inaugural show, you and I are collaborating at a much higher level. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yes. And that too is the spirit of who I am. Together we can do even more. And I'm just so blessed with the people that come into my life. And last night I did the first of a workshop series for Activate Your Best Life Now with A.M. Williams. And he said, if you're in a state of competition, because there's a lot of people doing what we all do, but he goes, the only person you're competing with is yourself. But if you can keep that focus on what it is that you want, then the right people are going to show up to be in, like I said, that state of collaboration. And what we share, then as we share it to others, and there's that wonderful ripple effect. And
exactly.
That I feel is the answer to this massive global shift that's happening, and it is calling us back to connect. Now, this is about as close. I mean, I have to get on a plane and fly to Oakland and drive to Napa to see you, but this is that step to more intimately connected and sharing ourselves, our lives, and those of our future guests.
Exactly. And I like to say, would you rather be in the Red Sea of scarcity or the blue ocean of abundance? And that's what collaboration is all about. When you think that everyone is your competitor and everyone is out to best you, instead of saying, let's collaborate, let's work together, and let's see if we can make something even bigger, that's why I go to that saying. Would you rather be in the blue ocean of abundancy, which I would, and I know you would as well, or the Red Sea of scarcity? How many people do you know that live in the Red Sea of scarcity?
Well, I don't know everyone's But what I know is that they can try, but being amongst so many small business owners, especially women entrepreneurs, and we have found that collectively we can do there again achieve so much. But then there's that divine bond of friendship, and my three words are connect, evolve, and discover. When we connect, I mean, just before we went on air, Caren and I know each other, but we didn't really know each other.
Right.
In that we grew up in LA County. We have birthdays a day apart. She is a year younger, so
Exactly.
yeah, I know. It's just the fun. That is what is the energizing part of life, is getting to know people and in creating those relationships, because truly life is so short. And if you go back and you think, wow, I should have bought that iPhone 6 rather than how come I didn't take the time to get to know this person or spend time with my loved one.
Right.
That is what I'm kind of leading into my legacy conversation, but this is what we do. And I've been so blessed with meeting so many amazing people who have been teachers in my lives while I'm interviewing them. That's the really amazing part of what I'm blessed with.
I agree. I so agree. And, you and I were chatting before we got on to our show today, that, yes, we are doing this together. We've collaborated, but we are still, and in a big way, learning about each other, learning about where we came from and stories. And we also discovered we're 1 year apart from each other as well, which... First of all, I didn't know that when I looked at you. I didn't realize that you're as old as dirt as I am as well. We're both old as dirt. And but we were talking about, some of the stories from our growing up, from where we came from. And I'm going to share one of mine. And we're going to throw this in every so often on our shows. We're going to divulge just a little bit about ourselves that maybe you didn't know. And so one of the things about me that you didn't know that I shared with you this morning is that when I was about 10 years old, I got invited to be on Art Linkletter's house party. And for those of you who are just as old as we are, you might remember that show. They used to have kids on, and it was, basically the segment was called Kids Say the Darndest Thing. And I was, very lucky. I was excited I was going to get on the show, and mostly because I knew that every child that got on the show got presents afterwards. They got toys and gifts and all sorts of very cool things. Unfortunately, I was on the show right after CBS had just finished a huge strike. So we were the very first show on. And two things happened. They asked me what did I want to be when I grow up. And I know you didn't expect to hear what I said. You thought a TV host. No, I said I'd like to be a window washer. I have no idea why I said that. Maybe I just figured that anything I strive to do, I'm going to do. But the other thing that happened was, instead of getting gifts and toys and presents to go home, I got Samsonite luggage. I made my mom very proud.
I love that. And you just gave me this is the beauty of conversation and this is what I do when I write, is the remembrances. I have a picture of me as a 4-year-old holding a dish rag, and my mom had said, you said you wanted to be a maid. I'm like, seriously?
So Nancy, instead of doing a TV show, maybe we should start a cleaning service.
If we could learn how to clean our computers, now that would be a whole...
Oh my gosh. So should we roll into that? Should we talk a little bit about technology today?
Yes, we should. Well, I just want to share, I have my backup plan for those of you who
I have my backup plan just in case. Can you hear me now?
There's an invisible string from here all the way up to Napa. So if we're off,
so funny.
grab your cans.
You're making me, I'm going to cry. I'm laughing so hard now. It's so funny. When you said get a can, I called you last night and I said, uh-oh, we have a problem. And I'm the geek amongst the two of us, right? I'm the geek. My computer wiped itself out, guys. Completely wiped itself out. 1 minute it was on, I was working, I walked away from the computer, I came back, it had literally wiped itself out, taken it to factory without an operating system, and I had no computer, and all I could say was, it was 7 o'clock at night, it was like, uh-oh. I'm supposed to do a show tomorrow. What am I going to do? Now, fortunately, because I am a geek, I have computers all over the house, and I was able to kind of set this one up, and we're hoping it stays set. But you're only as good as your technology. And this is something that's so important for our listeners that, they're going, oh my gosh, you're doing this. There's so many things that you're doing. Even we can have a problem with technology. And you, Nancy, I am so proud of you. You are awesome, because this is basically the first time you've ever done anything like this other than the show that I interviewed you on. And look what you're doing.
Well, with your help. And there again, it's that readiness factor. And to go back to last week, we had, for people who want to know, how did Caren and Nancy come up with this? It was after that interview, we just started talking, and I was fascinated about what you do, and we just kind of set, and that's what Caren is so great at, is being intentional. We set Tuesday afternoons to connect, and last week we're getting everything together, and all of a sudden I just went, I can't see a thing. My brand new all-in-one desktop just went to black. And I don't know that I told you, there were over 100 viruses in there. I mean, I got this right before Christmas, so what, 6 weeks later? So yes, I was without this computer until Saturday, and so these are the things I've heard about in losing. Now I've got my data backing up right now. I'm learning so much from you, and that's there again. I often tell either my friends or people that I'm coaching is that you'll know when people come into your life that it's a perfect fit.
Right.
Because we really didn't even set out any intentions other than we knew this is what we wanted to do. But then it's the more that we started getting intentional about it. Okay, we had hoped for January, but December, we all know what happens in December. That's when everything goes. And as you notice, I talk with my hands. Caren does too. Doesn't have anything to do with me being married to an Italian. And I want to say, if any of my in-law family, who I consider my family as well,
right,
y'all from us in the area, if you're watching, hello to you, and it's just kind of fun. I feel that closeness, and that's what's nice. And there again, to be able to reach out, be visible,
right,
and I'm not going to physical therapy. I wake up and I'm in gratitude for the day. Yeah.
And Nancy, our listeners and our watchers, people that are watching this right now, there is a chat right below us. It's the Facebook chat, and unfortunately today, because of our technical difficulties, we're not really able to see it right now, but you're able to make comments, and I promise you that Nancy and I are going to go back in there and take a look at what you said in the comments so that we can respond to them next week. And if there's something that it's some particular topic or subject or something that's near and dear to you, let us know. Let us know, because between the two of us, we know so many people around the world, and so we can go and find, people that will fit those questions and those things that you want to, talk about. So Nancy, tell us your journey. Tell us how you got to where you are right now. I mean, to this day. Give us a little bit of a background of how you got here.
First, I wanted to share my did you know moment.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know, and then one day I'll elaborate on how I got this golden opportunity. I'm in high school. I was asked to represent the North Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and throw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. They were playing the Giants, and lifelong rivalries. Packed, Dodger Stadium completely packed, and here I was on the mound. And back in that day, they had a batter, they had a catcher, and I knew I had to deliver, and so I did. And because baseball is my favorite sport, so as much as Super Bowl was fun, I love the commercials. I love the halftime show. I'm a true blue fan, but being married to Dominic, who was born and raised in San Francisco.
Right, he's a 49er fan. Oh my gosh, the rivalry that must have been going on.
It makes it interesting. But what I have a whole new appreciation for what it's like to be on the field, And these are professionals. They know how to tune it out. But then I'll be watching a certain player, and I use a lot of analogies in life. What's going on in your life right now? Because I know you could have. You've got the eye on the ball. Where's your head today? And that's why they have sports psychologists. And but yes, it's fascinating. But for me, I'm trying to think how far I should go back in the sense that we've already established that we grew up in LA.
Right.
There was that identity thing. My parents were born in Finland, so that was my first language. English is my second. And there's for any parents who may be listening, who may have another language, allow your child to learn that.
Right.
And children's minds are sponges. They can learn multiple languages. Just in Europe, they have to know 5 languages, and they do it very easily. And I took French and German. Bottom line is that, going through school, I was fascinated with journalism and communication, especially living in the entertainment industry area. That was a fascination for me. But it was different then. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have these opportunities to start up a radio show on a whim. That's what I did. And then having met Dominic soon thereafter, married, 3 children, and it came full circle to when I said, you know what, I need to change what I've been doing for 20 years. Working in law just really wasn't that passion point. We talked about that on your show.
Right.
And then it was what so many of us ask, who am I really? We know who we are. My name's Nancy, although it's a 5-year-old Nancy Who, because I didn't want to say my maiden name. It was much easier to say Nancy Who, but that's that identifier. Who are we? And what am I really here to do? And so for the last 5-6 years, I've been on that path. And then it was, really getting that going inward. And that's why Connect, Evolve, and Discover is so near and dear to me, because all the answers were here. This is what I was intending to do. And I always wanted my voice to be heard. But in our generation, children should be seen and not heard.
Exactly.
So that meant I was buddy with the principal, and facing the wall, sitting in the corner, speaking when I shouldn't have.
Shame on you.
No, that word, no, there's no. The thing is, we're not turning this into a coaching session. No, it's just that what I do love about what I observe now is that parents are and educators are allowing children to be more in their creative essence, embracing it more. I have Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way for Parents, Raising Creative Children, and she wrote The Artist's Way 20 years ago. And when I was talking to her on my show, back then artists were regarded as just really kind of like unemployed, just sort of bumbling through life. Now, and then I said, well, how do you see the shift now? And she said, much, much different. And I said, absolutely. That's what so many want to do, is write our stories. Everyone has a story within them to be shared. And that's what I am so passionate about, is encouraging people step on out. And like today, I'm very comfortable right now. We had to go. It wasn't that I wasn't. I just had to. It's a different medium for my expression.
And I love that. And I love the fact that you stepped out of your comfort zone, and now you're in this new medium, and we're creating this amazing digital asset, which of course is my wheelhouse, is the digital asset. So I think your journey took you here, obviously, and it's going to continue. It's going to keep going as you start becoming so comfortable with this. You're going to be wanting to do more and more of these things. I know. I totally know. You're very into vision boards. Can we talk a little bit about that? What a vision board is, and what it is that you do? And I know your vision board is right behind you. I don't know if you share or anything, but talk about a little bit about that, because your vision board actually has some words on there that took you to this place. I know that takes you to right where you are today.
Exactly. I can show you. I have Okay, I always start my year with a vision board for the year. What it is, just very simply said, is that you allow yourself not to think and allow yourself to choose. And when you said the ocean, that really resonated with me because the ocean is, as the sky is blue, so the ocean is a universal color. So as I'm facilitating a session with a client, they have chosen um, images, words, or whatever they want to put on there, not knowing why. And so then the process, it's a very intimate and sacred experience because it's coming from them. All I'm doing is showing them the way.
Right, right.
Once they this one, I don't know if you can see it, but there is lights, camera, and lots of action.
Oh my God, I love that. I mean, how cool is that? You put your intentions out.
Yes, little did I know when it would happen. That was what I was desiring. But see, if people look at that and go, oh, you want a house like that, it's not the house.
Right.
What it shows are the openings for more to show up. So that's where I come into play when my clients will create a vision board. Then it's like taking fabric through and seeing the integration of color of, like I said, circles are very dominant about, openings, more openings to come in to play. Circles. Someone had a vision board that had lots of, circles, whether cookies or, windows or whatever, and that was there again, also being connected. And then sometimes it's that one little piece. I have a very defining piece, and I'm willing to put it out there on the red tape. I don't know if you can see it. The woman standing there.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, and that was my stance. Okay, I'm taking on, not the world, but I'm just taking on the essence of who I am and what I want to do. But I kept holding on to this little piece of an image of white tulips in a vase. I'm like,
wow,
I'm not really a tulip person. What does this mean? I look up the symbolic meaning. It means forgiveness. I had more forgiveness to do in my life, as we all do. And forgiveness in the sense that sometimes it's not necessary to go to that person, but just forgive them. They probably weren't intentionally wanting to hurt you, but if you're holding on to that anger or any other emotion that's holding you back, forgiveness is for you so that you can let go and be free.
Absolutely.
And I knew I had to do that. And once you do, that's where you find that center, that peace. And then you move into it. It clears out that muck, much like the lotus flower comes from the dirty, mucky water, and what comes forth.
Right. Well, it's funny. I mean, you use the vision board, and I don't use a vision board. I tried it. It wasn't for me personally. I'm not a visual in terms of pictures. I'm a visual in terms of words. So what I do every year, and I actually tweak it during the year, is I do mind maps. Mm-hmm. And I start with me in the middle and with lines that come in. For those of you who have never done a mind map, it's a different way of looking at the things that you're doing and all the minutia that goes along with those things. And I tend to do that. And and everybody has their own way of setting their intentions. Some don't even set intentions because they're not even sure what that means. They think it's a resolution, and I hate that word. My New Year's resolution. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I do my intentions, as I know you do as well. And maybe we throw that out to our listeners, is that maybe you want to reframe how you do and how you think, that it's not so much setting a resolution that you're going to do this and then you go back and you realize you did none of those things. You set the intention. And for me, I know when I set an intention, and I think about it and I look at it all the time, I find that I'm much more aware when something or a piece of what I need to fulfill that intention shows up on my doorstep. Because I'm aware of it now, because I've been thinking about my mind map, and I'm sure when you're thinking about your vision board and you're looking at your vision board, and I think you look at it probably on a regular basis, right? So you set your intention, and then when something shows up, i.e. this particular show that we're doing right now, you go, oh, this is it. this showed up. It showed up. It didn't just miracle. It's not magic. It showed up because you put that intention out there, and it's a mindset. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And what it does is create that awareness. And so many of us, and there again I speak in broad terms, is that we're on autopilot. You get up, have your breakfast, get in the car, go to work. You could do that in your sleep. And so another aspect of, because it's wonderful to create a vision board, but if it's not activated or in your line of vision, then it's not working for you. And so what I suggest to people when they just feel kind of stuck or bored, so you have the power of choice. Create a different route. See what shows up. And there again, after we had talked, and then I took a peek. This has happened to me several times.
Right.
And it's funny. I'm looking at this too here. It's reconnect, and that's what my within the recesses of my mind was telling me as I was feeling so isolated. And this is not for anything other than to say that I think we can all relate to it when we have an illness or an injury or surgery, that you have those moments of, well, I'm really getting tired of just, day after day, that's all you're focusing on. But this provides that what's the word for it, is you're allowing infinite possibilities to come in your life.
Love that. Infinite possibilities. That's awesome. That's a great phrase.
Yeah, 2 years ago, and I'm just going to put it out there, my friends know about it, but I had lip cancer right here. And 2 years later, I had to have surgery. Well, a lot of nerves were cut. It's not the look is not the way it was, and I was self-conscious about it. But what I want to share is that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And what happened for me then is I couldn't speak very well, and still once in a while it can get a little tired, but opened up the doors to write. And that year I had a chapter in a best-selling book, Selling with Synchronicity. A lot of opportunities came to write in, like Inspire Me, and it goes on and on. Once you put yourself out there, the universe conspires to support you, and that's how I feel. And that's why I put that out there too. I want to take this to another level, and then here comes Caren.
Automatically, just like that. I just showed up. And talking about books, you're going to be in the next volume of Passionistas Talk, because that interview is in that book. I tend to, again, digital assets, I created a book out of those interviews. So I want people, don't forget, you want to look for that book when it comes out. It's coming out in the next couple of weeks. We'll be talking a little bit about that. And go get that book and listen to more of Nancy's story, because it talks about how she's followed her passion and is making a living doing what she loves. So it's kind of a cool thing. My story is a little bit different.
I want to, what, I admire you so much for what you do. You are that big picture thinker. I have that book by John Maxwell, How Successful People Think, because you were sharing me with what you do with the product. I always felt by my knowledge.
Right.
And so I would love for you to share what led to where you are. And for people who don't know what digital assets are, that's a great, you have so much knowledge on that and expertise to share, and that others can start applying that to their lives.
Well, and thank you. My journey is, I've done several things in my life that I'm extremely proud of. I started, music is my first love. I'm a singer. I am a classical pianist, and music has always been my first love. The irony is I do very little of it right now, and that's something that I did put into my intentions, that music is going to come back into my life in a big way, and I'm going to start playing piano again and all of that kind of stuff. But on my journey along the way as a singer, I ended up becoming a children's rock and roll singer, of all things. because I do believe that kids are the future, and I believe that kids, when they start to feel good about themselves and they step into their own brilliance, I feel much better about where our world is going, because if you don't look at that, you can get very scared as to where our world is going. But I recorded many, many CDs. I was with Rhino Records, which used to be an independent record company that got bought by Warner Brothers. But I was with Rhino Records. They sent me all across the country to sing at places where kids went. I was at zoos. I sang at the zoos with the animals. We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about that. I got very friendly with some rhinoceroses in Missouri. They actually put I was in the newspaper, and it made me laugh every time I saw it. I was on their Sunday Times calendar section, and it was a humongous picture of me, and the title said, "She's perky, but that's her job." So, kind of funny. So I was singing songs, and I ended up singing at Carnegie Hall, which is very, very cool. I ended up singing at Carnegie Hall, and I took that passion for music and opened a creative arts school, and had teachers that went into all of the public and private sector down in Los Angeles. I was very proud of that as well. We had over 50 teachers that went in. We were the first public program that was let into the public schools. It was music and art and dance. At that time, again, back many, many years ago, the school systems had gotten rid of all the art programs. There just was no money. And so, again, I had a little one at that point. My youngest is now 29. Oh my God! But so we were doing something that was very, very important. We were bringing music and arts and all sorts of extracurricular programs back into the school system. And then I got into probably is my most the career that I probably feel I did the most good in, and that was when I followed my Jewish roots and I became a cantor. In Judaism, there are two clergy people. There's a cantor who sings, music comes in, and then there's the rabbi who talks. We both do all the life cycle stuff, so I became a cantor. I had a congregation down in the San Fernando Valley, the valley side of Los Angeles, and I was there for 16 years, and I learned how, in that job, I learned so many things. I learned how to communicate with people. I learned how to listen, not hear, but listen to what people had to say. And when I left that job in 2009 to move up to Northern California, and a lot of personal stuff happened, and maybe we'll get into that in later shows, I found myself in a position that a lot of entrepreneurs found themselves. I was an accidental entrepreneur. I didn't have a job anymore, so I wasn't going to say I was unemployed. I would say I'm an entrepreneur because it sounded better. But in doing that, I realized that so many people were out there not knowing how to promote their passion. And from that point, I created a company called Promote Your Passion, and it just kind of took on a life of itself on its own. In 2012, I did almost 20 events across the country. I traveled all across the country to cities and states. I was on the road 3 weeks out of the month. Don't ever do that. That was just
now
bad,
I know.
bad, bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. And I thought, you know what? People are loving this, but I'm not. And this was not something that I was feeling really good about. And so I set my vision to something else and got into my second love, which probably rivals the first love of music, and that is technology. I'm a geek. I should just have that across my forward. I'm a geek. And I got in, and so I was doing technology, Nancy, back in the 80s. I was on dial-up internet on my Commodore computer. I mean, talk about being a geek. And I started realizing, yes.
No, we don't call him a geek. You are a wizard.
Oh, well, you know what? They call me Digital Diva. They call me the Digital Diva because I teach people how to take these assets, and this is one of them. We're creating a YouTube video right now. I teach them how to take those assets and create multiple assets from one thing. Work smarter, not harder. And that's what we teach business owners, is to work smarter, not harder. So when this show is over, when we're done with this show, I'm going to actually not just talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. I'm going to take this show and I'm going to blog it. And I'm going to put it in social media, as I know you are. We're going to take this asset, which is the video. There's lots of assets. Audios are assets. E-papers are assets. Blogging is assets. Anything that's online that you own is your digital asset. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
And we should say that we're not, well, we're never alone, are we? Connected to source. But well, we each have our four-legged furry friends. My puppy I got when I started my business 4 years ago. But what, am I crazy? Because my other Doxy had passed away, and but I felt that void. But you know what? For anyone who's contemplating on getting a dog and thinking, oh, this is going to be a hassle, she has conformed to my schedule. She loves meditation. She loves hearing the conversations, and she's right here with me, and it's such a nice feeling.
I know, it's awesome.
Beautiful dog.
Yeah, and I have mine over here. Mine has been nudging me. I think mine wants to go out. Well, she's going to have to wait. She's a German Shepherd. She's going to have to wait. But you're right. I mean, she is conformed to my schedule. She sleeps on the couch next to me when I'm working. You know, and then she lets me know it's time for me to take some me time and take her for a walk and get out. Because for those of us who work at home, I'm in front of my computer all the time, and I tend not to get up even to eat. So she reminds me that I need to get out and you know, take a walk and get some fresh air.
She's probably nudging you to have her dog.
And did we mention that Mercury is in retrograde? You want to talk about that, because I think that's part of our technology issues today. What is Mercury in retrograde? I'm sure that a lot of you have heard that expression. What does that mean, Mercury and retrograde, and why does that affect us?
It means that's why my hair won't grow right here. And this is something that's new to me. It's all come along my way because of different practitioners who I've worked with. You know, what I know for sure is what everyone knows. When there's a full moon, which there is one now too,
right.
We all feel a little bit off. We may be retaining water a little more. The tides are different, and that's why they say there's more babies born. We are part of a solar system. We are not, as much as we want to, we're it. There's our other forces.
We are not alone. We are not alone.
4 times a year, and there's a pre-Mercury phase, and we're now right smack in the middle of it. So maybe 3 weeks ago, people were starting to feel a little off because we have so many satellites up there now who are helping us communicate and connect this way. When the planet actually, it just comes in a little bit closer. The sun, and I know there may be people saying, no, Nancy, you're saying it wrong. This is what I know to be true. It actually appears that it's going in the opposite direction. It's not, but what it's doing is that it's creating a different
force field, right?
In your house, you know, if lights start flickering, going off, there's a disruption. It gets into the Earth's atmosphere and the field, combined with solar flares, which have been very active since last year. When those come in, it affects the power grids. They can actually shut down. So this Mercury retrograde that started 2 weeks ago, seriously, I call it the most fierce one I've ever experienced.
I agree, Nancy. I agree. I
mean, have computer crashes. I keep hearing it from others. Also, miscommunications with conversations with people, and like, where are you coming from here? It's just, and then it, but when you, that's why I say knowledge is power. Once you know, and I don't really like to, calendar, okay, get ready, here it comes. But sometimes it's not quite as obvious.
Right.
And there's other planets out there doing their thing. Oh yeah, that's right. An asteroid fly by a few days ago too. Everything affects what's going on within our energy field. And since we're all energy, we're feeling very off sometimes. So what your dog is telling you is the precise thing to do. Drop what you're doing. Go outside.
Right.
Be grounded in the ground, not go. Let me rephrase that. Take your shoes and socks off, stand on the grass, get some energy from our earth to feel more grounded rather than sort of all over the place.
Exactly. So if you're listening and you now say, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's happening to me right now, these weird things, my computer's haywire, my phone is haywire, I'm thinking weird, it could be that you are feeling the effects of Mercury retrograde, right?
More than likely, and I do love my daughter, because she'll text me and says, "Mom, is Mercury in retrograde?" That explains it. And
I know.
it's part of my world, and I'm very much. I've become even more connected with the earth. I love my gemstones, my crystals, because they're from the earth, and everyone will support you within your energy balance system. I go like this because we have a chakra system, and we can have we're going to have a show on that, I'm sure. What is that? What does it mean? But we are a body, and we have systems, and when one is out of whack, then I will, like for instance, I love my little citrine here, which is actually very. This was the impetus for my spiritual vision board, because I saw one picture. I'll show you because this is what it is. I've never created one for my spirit and my connection. Do you see the ball?
Yes.
The ball is very similar to this, in that sometimes if I'm not feeling quite in my center, I feel like I'm having arrows coming at me from different directions. I can go into that space anytime.
Right.
But it's within my heart and soul, and that is what some people say. Well, how do you meditate? Just go quiet. It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to be involved in everything all the time, and for me, that's my clarity piece.
Right. And I know we're going to be doing some shows on that. We have some experts that are going to come on. And as we start to wind up our show today, I want to remind people that are watching that we're on every single Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and that no matter where you're watching it, if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, look at the description. There's going to be ways for you to get in touch with both Nancy and myself if you want to schedule a strategy call with us, or just get to know us a little bit better, and maybe you want to work with us. Who knows? But go ahead and look in the description, as well as you're looking at on the Spark It Network blog post. You will see some graphics that you can click on that will take you to our websites in different places. So go ahead and play. You can't break anything unless, of course, Mercury is in retrograde. But go ahead, and click on buttons. If you're seeing it there, click there. If you're seeing it in YouTube, click there. But we're here every single week, and we hope that you're going to join us. Any last words, Nancy, that you'd like to share before we tell people who's going to be on next week?
I will let you share the guests next week, because we in the spirit again of collaboration, Caren has people she knows that she wants to share with the viewers, as I do, and it truly has been a pleasure. I've had such a great time, and I am just so excited for what we did not have to use our. I love that woman where she was, "I'm watching you, Sue people."
Really? Isn't that funny? I'm watching you, Sue people. I love that. I totally love that. So Nancy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm just very much in gratitude for you, and we put this. This is our baby. We laughed last night. We said we're rebirthing again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did talk about that, and we're having contractions and labor pains.
I think it was just more heart palpitations. Like, come on,
we can do this. And I told you last night, we're doing this no matter what. I'm going to figure it out and get something going. So I'm really glad we did. And I, in turn, am grateful for you. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for getting out of your risk, taking that risk to get out of your comfort zone. And I'm here to tell you, you did an awesome job, and this is very comfortable for you, and I know that you're going to be using this for other things as well. So I appreciate you, and I'm so excited, Nancy, because our guest for next week, we're going to have guests on our show. It's not always going to be just the two of us. We're going to have a guest, and next week we have Kim Castle. Oh my gosh, we are so fortunate to have Kim on the show. She's the creator of KimTV. It's a very, very popular YouTube television show. And also, she's the founder of Aging Gracefully. I know that's a subject that touches all of us. It's near and dear to our hearts and our souls, and I know it's going to be a very cool subject that Kim's going to discuss with us. So I'm excited to have her come and join us next week, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So Nancy, you want to say goodbye to everyone before we just turn off the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Have yourself a great day, and remember what we said, if things get a little dicey, step outside. And I know for people who are out in the Northeast are going, what? Well, I was born in Canada. You can go out there for a minute, and it might be cold and snowy, but just breathe in some oxygen. And thank you so much for joining us. Cannot wait for next week.
Absolutely. We know that you have many choices as to how you spend your time, and we want to thank you for spending your time with us today. So until next time on Connecting People, Changing Lives, have an awesome day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.